Each week on Ozarks News Journal, we put someone on the hot seat. In this segment, we take a topic of debate and let someone with in-depth knowledge of the subject offer his or her opinion, followed by a short question and answer session. This week, we are talking with J.D. Garretson. J.D. is a reporter for The Standard and has some definite opinions about the state of American politics. J.D., take it away.
Thanks, guys. American-style politics is blood sport. And if there's one thing it seems both sides of the aisle can agree on, it's that our system of politics seems broken. The only argument seems to be who's to blame for this fact. And to be honest, I'm torn about the state of my country's politics. On the one hand, I'm an impetuous youth with lofty, high-minded ideals and a semblance of morality. And as a new voter, I'm enamored with seeing my ideals become legislation, to see someone shape the nature of my homeland based, at least in part, on my support. On the other hand, I'm from Arkansas. There's just nothing I love more on a basic genetic level than a dirty brawl filled with classic rock and the glow of fireworks. I know I should be ashamed, but I think one thing that's lost in the day-to-day stoning of politicians and the media is that, yeah, we can pull up all sorts of absurd examples. A favorite of mine is a recent push poll in Virginia that asserted, among other things, that Obama would drive the annual deficit up to $23 trillion and that Democrats as a party supported a military draft. But when you add a bit of perspective, the modern push poll is child's play. In the 1800s, Martin Van Buren was publicly accused by Davy Crockett, no less, of wearing women's underwear. There have been numerous incidents of one politician attacking another with weapons, canes, guns, barbed wire, over some inconsequential disagreement. Teddy Roosevelt decked a guy for insulting his clothes. Wouldn't something like that have been awesome during the '08 elections? No, it wouldn't have. It would have been wrong. Politics is supposed to be a reasoned debate on the journey toward a more perfect union, and not a contest of spectacle and popularity. But let's face it, American politics is a few steps away from Miss USA, and those steps are often towards weapons. Our republic is a grand social experiment, and it's been successful in countless ways, but honest experiments tell the truth, not what we want to hear. Politics is dirty because people are, not because cable news made it that way. Yes, we should grouse about false assertions. We should rail against immoral politicians and their platforms. We should vote with our hearts and our minds. The rest of the time, though, I think it's okay to grab some popcorn and enjoy the basic pleasures of American democracy.
All right. Wow.
JD, what has led to U.S. politics being like that?
Being democratic? Well, American politics has always been dirty. And that's something that we kind of lose sight of. Like, I mean, examples go back to, my favorite examples are Thomas Jefferson. He's one of our founding fathers. When George Washington dropped out of the presidential race, there was kind of a political vacuum that was created. And the infighting between these guys who were formerly friends and allies was fierce. Thomas Jefferson, the charges were literally that if he was elected president, our wives and daughters would be forced into legal prostitution and that there would be rape in the streets. I mean, pretty bad stuff that it would be completely unthinkable today, you know.
Right. But it just started like that.
Yeah, I mean that's just the nature of I mean, basically, you know, it's a popularity contest, right? No matter how much we try to dress it up, and it always goes back to like high school, you know, innuendo and spreading vicious rumors and getting anything you can to make everyone else think that you're better than everyone else. You know?
Right. So would you say, has it turned into a win at any means kind of thing, and the ends justify the means?
I don't think it's turned into that. I think it is that. It always has been that. I mean, you know, dirty politics isn't just in America. It's in every republic, in every democracy. You know, it gets fierce. And I mean, again, when we're talking about basically, you know, ideological beauty contests, I mean, literally, we had, you know, more or less that between Joe Biden and Sarah Palin in the '08 elections. And, you know, if you really like look at it from a historical perspective, we're actually in a really good time politically, so far as, you know, fighting and stuff goes. Like, it gets pretty bad, especially from the incumbent parties who want to stay in power. But when you compare us to, you know, 100 years ago or 150 years ago, when all of the media was literally working for some sort of political entity, we have it pretty good. You know, we always like to think that 20 years ago it was better, but that's not necessarily true.
Okay. Well, thank you, JD. And that's about all the time we have today, but your voice has been heard. Coming up on Ozarks News Journal, are we ready for the next big storm? Erica Brame sets out to find out. Stay with us.
Welcome back. With heavy rains throughout the fall and the winter storm season approaching, our Erica Brame set out to find out if Southwest Missouri is ready to take on whatever comes our way in the first of our series, Weather in the Ozarks.
Bad weather can strike at any time here in the Ozarks. Emergency management crews are concerned that residents here aren't ready for another weather disaster.
Well, I always stress for people to be weather aware. It doesn't matter what time of the season it is. If it's the summer, make sure you know how hot it's going to be outside. If it's, the spring and the fall, make sure you know the potential of severe weather threats. If it's in the winter, again, make sure, is that ice storm, just 2 days away? Do I need to stock up on supplies for home?
Wood says with all the recent storms, first responders are prepared for the next weather disaster.
I will say that I think we're better than we were. We're always striving to be better, and we're just looking forward to that next day when something bad might happen.
Here you can see the storm radar the Springfield-Greene County Emergency Management Team uses to warn residents about oncoming bad weather. The American Red Cross also encourages residents to take their own steps to prepare for unpredictable weather. Shirley Shipley says one good way to keep your family safe is buying your own weather radio.
This is our weather radio, and it has the crank, where you can just crank it up, crank it at least a minute or two, and a minute should last about 30 minutes. Or you can purchase batteries to put in it.
She says you can take your weather radio all over the country and dial into local and national stations. Shipley says in her 23 years experience, most people just don't have an emergency plan.
A lot of them wasn't prepared, so the main thing is to be prepared. And one thing of that is having a radio, and of course having a flashlight and batteries, having food and water available to last you at least 3 days.
Organizations like the American Red Cross have emergency management plans that you can go over with your loved ones. Before the next ice storm, flood, or tornado hits, take the time to get weather ready. In Springfield, Erica Brame, Ozarks News Journal.
We will continue to look at our unique weather patterns here in the Ozarks over the next several months.
And finally today, our clip of the week. This week we have a dog who has a bone and thinks someone is trying to take it from him, someone or something, and begins to attack his own leg. Get a load of this, guys.
Let's see what we got.
See that leg creeping up?
What do you think that dog's thinking right now?
I really want this bone or something. I don't know.
I've got the bone.
Ouch, ouch. Going after his own leg.
He's not even letting go.
Oh, wow. Well, that was
Interesting dog.
It sure was. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Ozarks News Journal. Please join us here next time for more in-depth news about Southwest Missouri. I'm Charlie Keegan.
And I'm Katie Easley. Have a great day, Missouri.